We are entering a new era of design and manufacturing, with exciting opportunities driven by innovation, collaboration, and data. Transformation is necessary, but how do you turn it into value? You're dealing with more demands than ever, from granular traceability across the supply chain to the ever-present threat of product substitution, and the need for better collaboration with contractors. 80% of companies in the building products and fabrication sector recognize that digital transformation is their top priority right now. But 70% use digital construction solutions in less than 30% of their projects because their data is trapped in silos. Imagine a single source of truth, connecting your people, processes, data, and technology from top floor to shop floor, helping you make better product development decisions and improving collaboration with the whole value chain more efficiently, helping you deal with more RFQs more efficiently, accelerating innovation and refining digital workflows so you can convert more and better business. The new era of design and manufacturing will belong to the innovators, to the imaginative, to the pioneers. The best time to act was yesterday. The second best time is now. Whatever journey you are on, Autodesk is there with you, a partner to help you design the future and deliver real value from digital transformation.
All right, we can go ahead and get started. We have a good number of people here. Thank you all so much for making the time to join us. We're really excited for our online event today. Multicad Data Management and PLM with Upchain. We have some really incredible hosts today. We have some guest speakers from Autodesk. We're so happy to have them, Janica and Tony. And then of course from SolidCAD, we have Tyler as well, who's gonna start by giving us a bit of a rundown. Just a couple of housekeeping notes first. If you do have any questions at any point through here, we really encourage you to just add them into the chat or the Q&A feature, and we'll just kind of save those to the end for Q&A segments, but feel free to add them as they come to you. On to Tyler.
Thanks, Malika. Hi, I'm Tyler Fee. I'm the Industry Account Executive for Autodesk Platinum Partner SolidCAD. It's my responsibility to help companies through the evaluation of SolidCAD's PLM and PDM products. Here's an agenda for today's presentation. We'll be focusing on industry challenges around digital transformation, as well as looking at some issues companies had with multi-CAD environments, bill of materials, and change management. And show you a demonstration of our Upchain solution and how it relates to these challenges. We also have some time for an open discussion to make sure your questions are answered. The SolidCAD is one of the more mature companies in the industry, being founded in 1996. Since then, SolidCAD has grown to be one of the largest professional services companies in Canada, and our reach continues to grow. As an Autodesk Platinum partner, SolidCAD is the leading Autodesk partner in Canada. SolidCAD specializes in technology that supports industries including architecture, engineering, construction, civil infrastructure, and manufacturing. So listed here are some of the offices across Canada, being headquartered in Richmond Hill, Ontario. We have a lot of resources across these offices to support our customers, not only across Canada, but across North America. Now, Janica is going to talk about Autodesk and introduce Upchain.
Thanks, Tyler. Happy to meet everyone and very excited to be on this webinar with SolidCAD. We work very closely with SolidCAD. As Tyler said, they're a platinum partner for Autodesk, and they are integral to our go-to-market strategy and how we interact and help our customers. And my name is Janica Wellahinda. I'm a product specialist sales executive here at Autodesk. I've been with the company about a year now and came over from the Upchain acquisition. But my job is to get companies like yours data connected and managed effectively. I might speak to hundreds of companies a year with exactly the issues that you're facing today. When it comes to Autodesk, though, Autodesk, if you're not familiar, makes software for people who make things. So if you've seen a high-performance car, skyscraper, smartphone, or any blockbuster movie in the past decade, chances are you've experienced what millions of Autodesk customers are doing with our software. Everyone knows that Autodesk is a global leader in architecture, engineering, and construction, but it might be the biggest startup in design and manufacturing and media and entertainment. And so we are now going to focus on the manufacturing and design side for this webinar. So when we are going to talk to you today, we're going to talk to you about industry challenges around digital transformation, specifically how Upchain can help you as well. And when we're talking about industry challenges, we're going to be talking about globalization and what that means in this day and age. So, when companies were founded, back when PDMs and PLMs were invented, OEMs would be in a localized area. Now it's a global environment. So it's not reasonable to think that, your teams are going to be in the same area, let alone how you're going to collaborate in real time. When it comes to process bottlenecks and inadequate data sharing, these are issues that we're seeing constantly as information grows exponentially. Repetitive manual efforts, we're going to show you how we're going to solve that issue. Lack of collaboration in real time. So not having to, say, email tons of people with NCC everyone. And of course, supply chain issues we'll be talking about today and how Upchain can streamline that whole process. So many of those systems that I was talking about were PDMs and PLMs for the past. They're usually disconnected, and they're usually built for companies, OEMs, that were in a localized area. Back in the day, we would have manufacturing, product development, procurement, supply chain, all kind of managed in-house in one region. Now what we're finding is companies need to be globalized and have multiple sites around the globe. The processes, tools, and nomenclature were all standardized, but what do you do now in this day and age when you grow through acquisition? And when software is purchased, it was usually chosen by someone at the top that didn't even use it and then implemented in a top-down fashion. But how can we find it so that IT doesn't have to be relying, or we don't have to rely on IT to set something up? How can we get the business divisions to be able to set up a solution that can work for engineers and manufacturing alike? In some of the studies that we've done over the past couple of years as well, we've found that when it comes to change management, engineers are using up to 10 systems to make one change. When it comes to new product introduction, 83% of products miss their cost target and 79% of new products miss their launch date. So if this is sounding like your company, know that you're not alone. This is actually the majority of companies. Product data management, 1 in 3 companies are having trouble with controlling, accessing, and sharing that data. 31% of companies reuse that data, and they're having trouble accessing that data and making sure that they're working on the latest revisions and versions. And when it comes to collaboration, 40% of companies talk about issues with collaboration. Again, how do you collaborate that's not an email thread or a Slack thread? 40% of companies are having trouble with this, but that was a pre-pandemic number. That number we've seen has gone up since. So now Tyler will be talking a little bit more about what PDM and PLM is, so we have a baseline of understanding going into our later conversations.
Thanks, Janica. Before we talk more about Upchain and what is product lifecycle management and what is product data management that resides in the cloud, let's provide a high-level overview of what PLM and PDM is. PDM is more than just check-in and check-out. It has a lot of other responsibilities within an organization. It encompasses a lot of different areas, Having a single source means more visibility. They're finding information faster with more accuracy. Ultimately, it means making better decisions. PDM is metadata, which means data about data. It provides information about data. Who is the author, when it was created, revision dates, who made the changes. It's also a repository for data. A lot of companies require data to be stored for compliance and quality control for standards such as ISO 9001 or ISO 13485 for quality management, FDA or quality group standards for aerospace. PDM is a system for managing design data and engineering processes in one central location. Engineering teams use PDM software to organize product-related information, track revisions, collaborate, manage change orders, generate bill of materials, and much more. So it's, as you can see, it's not just about data. Product lifecycle management is the process of managing the entire lifecycle of a product, from its inception to the engineering, design, and manufacturing, as well as service and disposal of the manufactured products. It integrates people, data, processes, and business systems, and provides product information for the backbone of companies and their extended enterprises. PLM acts as a central repository of information, allowing users to track and trace the life cycle of a project or product. So fundamentally, PLM is the backbone or foundation for products from cradle to grave. I wanted to recommend a book by Michael Greaves that goes more into the depth about what a PML solution is. It describes how a proper implemented platform helps clients understand activities that are essential to maintaining and growing a product after it's been launched to market. It talks a lot about the issues that our customers see in a product's life cycle, and a lot of issues that are solved by Upchain's capabilities. Planning and designing, building, support, and disposal. So let's talk a little bit about what digital transformation is. Its definition and what it means is different for every company. In a general sense, digital transformation is the adoption of digital technology by a company. Common goals for its implementation are to improve efficiency, value, or innovation. And it's changed a lot with the COVID pandemic. The way companies and people interact because of COVID restrictions has made executives adopt to changing their digital transformation strategies. The statistics show that the rate of adoption are years ahead of where they were when previous surveys were conducted in pre-COVID times. So we talked a little bit about digital transformation, PLM, and PDM. Now Janica is going to discuss how it relates to Autodesk Upchain's platform.
Thanks, Tyler. So when Tyler was talking about digital transformation, he mentioned improving efficiency, value, and innovation. And those are going to be the key things that we're going to focus on. But when it comes to PDM and PLM to go further, you know, what we're looking for is saving time and being more efficient. So getting products out to market, time to market faster, saving time, searching for the right data, and automation. These are the three things we're trying to solve with PDM and PLM. And it's good that we went through those definitions because there's some PLMs that do PDM as well, a little bit. Sometimes ERP does some PLM stuff as well. So it's good to know where one starts and one ends. And traditionally, where one ends with PDM is in the engineering department. PDMs, like we mentioned before, were designed for the engineering department, and traditional PDMs were designed for companies in a localized area. Now, with the benefit of cloud, we can broaden our horizons on what PDM can do when it comes to connecting teams, either globally, but also combining PDM and PLM allows us to connect engineering, manufacturing, procurement, and everyone in the whole value chain. For Upchain, it's an out-of-the-box configured cloud-based SaaS solution that's multi-tenant. And that's a mouthful, but what it really means is that it just works as it should. It's instant on, and it could save time to market from, say, months to years-long implementation to weeks, and possibly days, depending on how big your company is and what your use cases are. Our Connect the Chain methodology has been developed so that not only are you starting with this PDM and PLM solution, but along the way that we're holding your hand to make sure that you're successful. And when it comes to multi-tenant, this is the most important part of Upchain. It is a multi-tenant solution. So the same solution that Tony will be showing in a little bit is the same solution that our most demanding of enterprise customers use, is the same solution that you'll be using as well. We keep innovating on the solution. We keep adding functionality in 6 major upgrades a year. And we're able to do that because it's multi-tenant. It's easier for us to scale. It's easier for you to scale as well. And so I'll pass it off to Tony to take us a little bit deeper into Upchain and kind of show us the nuts and bolts.
Sure. Thanks, Janica. As mentioned, my name is Tony Wynn. I'm a technical specialist here at Autodesk, and I'll talk a little bit more granular about what is Upchain. Well, let's start first of all with the fact that it's the world's first truly cloud PDM and PLM platform. And I should say first and only right now. So there's no longer a need to have server rooms or costly admins or the really complicated integrations between our CAD, then our PDM, then our PLM platforms. To me, the benefits are pretty endless, but we'll focus on a couple. So with Upchain, we can now leverage that native CAD and parts and assemblies, all that data, and automate the creation of items and BOMs right in the platform. From there, we can increase the value of our engineering data just by providing access and visibility to our entire organization. We can also take that data, add it right into workflows. So all the engineering data that we have already can now go directly into business processes like BOM and change management, requirements and quality management, or because we have that great SaaS multi-tenant platform, we can actually configure our own formal processes and use our data there. So this allows everyone in your organization to be able to view and work with the data in the way they need to. And that's just an Upchain. How does this sort of fit into the rest of the environment within your enterprise solutions? If we take a look here at this next graphic, we're going to be able to see, okay, Upchain right in the middle of everything. We already talked about the out-of-the-box solutions. Let me tell you about that. First, let me talk about how most organizations like yours work. A lot of them will have different tools to do their jobs. In most companies, teams and solutions completely fragmented, dispersed, which can obviously lead to a lot of challenges. It reduces end-to-end collaboration and the whole efficiency issue. But with Upchain, that immediate out-of-the-box integration to your CAD tools. So, if you're using SolidWorks or NX or Creo, Inventor, you should be using Inventor, by the way. That's my professional opinion. Even AutoCAD, we can seamlessly integrate those day one. It's just an easy button, right? But for those other enterprise solutions that you use, we're going to leverage all of Upchain's open APIs. That way, we can connect it directly to an ERP or an MRP, and we can really complement the workflows that those teams use within those enterprise solutions that they know so well. And we can ensure all of the data that your company is working with is up to date, no matter what system they're looking at. This allows your teams to work on the same data and the tools they need to. Now, Tyler, I mentioned some of the challenges that companies face when they don't have this type of connected data environment. You want to expand on it a little bit?
Yeah, thanks, Tony. The process for today's presentation will be a show and tell theme. We'll go through some of the common industry challenges and demonstrate Upchain's capabilities around these challenges. Janica then will summarize what we've seen. So now let's talk about some specific challenges we've seen in the industry. One being around multi-CAD environments and document management. Well, many companies have identified the need for a centralized platform, giving everyone access to everything everywhere. Well, Joe in engineering might say, I can find any model or drawing based on my unique way of indexing my design data. That would be great, but Joe is on vacation, or you're looking for Bob's designs who retired last year. And if you cannot find the documentation or designs that a company has produced before, this takes a lot of time to redesign them. There's a need for departments to have a centralized platform for project collaboration and visibility. Automated, standardized, and centralized digital workflows with traceability on what and why and who made the change. We'll discuss this later when we talk about revision control. Document management challenges can occur when changes to bill of materials are done in a manual process, which cause data errors. So Upchain can help organize the data, help protect it, and find it through powerful search capabilities. It supports company-wide traceability on what happened, why it happened, and who made the change. Quality issues occur when there are multiple and manual siloed applications. This will not only influence quality, but also results in higher product costs. So now Tony will show the functionality of Upchain related to these challenges.
Thanks, Tyler. All right, let's go ahead and jump into our CAD solution. So we find ourselves in the Inventor environment that we all know, but with one little twist. Here in the Collaborate tab, we see Upchain. And of course, over here on the right-hand side, we see the full Upchain plugin interface. From here, we have access to all the data within our Upchain tenant, and we can go ahead and look at our assignments, our favorite projects, and all the projects assigned to me, just like if we were in the web interface. Now, I'll go ahead and let's grab one of our projects and go into the bill of materials to see the project BOM and all the end items that are held in there. And when we select, let's grab one of these camera assemblies right here, and we can expand. We can see that we have in a project BOM, it's more than just CAD items. But for right now, let's go ahead and grab one of the assemblies that we do know has CAD data. Now, we know we have CAD data associated with because we can see the Inventor assembly here in the file name. Now, we're able to right click and open it. It's going to give us that communication directly to the cloud and a lot of options on how to download it, including, let's grab the drawing, right? And then we can see if we want to download the latest working or latest release, however we want to load that BOM. And then we have access to all of the versions, but let's grab the latest. All right. It's going to go ahead and load and open a model, and we're going to see it's very, very quick. And now we see that it's loaded the CAD BOM, the C BOM here. And as we select through the tree, we see that it has a one-to-one relationship with our model interface, as well as our assembly history. All right. As we select through, we're going to see that we have access to all the data that we would anticipate, just like in our web interface, all that metadata here now for management, right inside of Inventor. Now, if we go ahead and right click here, we're going to be able to check it out. Let's go ahead and check out a couple items actually. And you're going to see that it's going to go ahead and modify the bill of materials interface. Now we have some visual indicators here. We see that it has a drawing. It's turned green. That is an indicator that now I can edit it, and it's locked and it's checked out to me. And then we have a couple more that's in development and happens to be a subassembly. Now, if we selected it and we can grab up here, now I can go ahead and edit all of this metadata. It's not just the CAD attributes. I can go ahead and add all of this that we would expect that would live in more of that rich PLM area. We can also go to docs, preview it, categorize it, where used. I love the where used because it shows you both EBOM as well as projects, assignments, manufacturers, all those things. And then if we had any assignments associated with it, we can go directly to here as well. Now, if I were to modify these, any of these, go ahead and go and maybe I have an assignment. I want to go ahead and make any changes to this. I would actually have that, the capability to come in and either save it and keep them checked out, or I can go ahead and check them back in. And that way it would release it to everyone to be able to see. And that would push all of those changes directly to the cloud so anybody could see them. Now, we would really expect this type of behavior for any good on-premise PDM, but know that this is fully cloud-based. So you get all that performance of on-prem that you would have right on your workstation, but all the benefits of the cloud system, meaning we can share data across really any web-enabled device, as well as obviously right here in Inventor. But I'm going to go ahead and cancel the checkouts on these ones because we're not changing them today. We don't really need to. Let's go ahead and check these ones out. Or sorry, cancel those checkouts. And now we're going to jump over into SolidWorks to show that full multi-CAD solution. Now, again, we're here in SolidWorks 2021, an interface a lot of you know very well. And we're looking at the SolidWorks resource tab, and we have Upchain embedded directly in SolidWorks. Now you're going to see we have near exact functionality as we go through our favorite projects, and we go, let's go grab that same project. And we'll see in the project bomb, let's grab, we're going to grab a different web camera because this one just happens to have CAD, SolidWorks CAD. But we also see that we can still get to that non-CAD data within here. But if we grab this one, let's go ahead and open it. Again, we show that we have the near exact same interface. And of course, very, very snappy response. And it's going to go ahead and load that up. Now we have our CAD bomb here as well. Excellent. Really, really fast performance. All right. And we can see that when we go into our project bomb, we can grab really any of those non-CAD information or non-CAD. We're also going to have access directly to the documents, right? So we can attach documents or download them. And we have quite a few here. I think we have a couple of different test development documents. We can grab these and open them up right into Word. And we can also get access to all of our assignments. So we're going to look here. This one's on a change request. And we can go ahead and take action directly from SolidWorks on this change request. Now, let me show you really quick how we got it on a change request. If we go back into the bill of materials, we're going to add one of these to a cart, just like you would in Amazon or Target or anything like that. We go to that cart, and this allows us to bulk send items and bombs directly to our workflows. Now we see our workflows here. We have quite a few based on objectives as well as disciplines. You get to configure your workflows as well. What we're seeing here is that we have all this amazing utility, not only from the PDM side, but then being able to elevate your workflows to the PLM portion of it directly in SolidWorks. That way your designers, they never have to leave the tool that they know. Janica, what are your thoughts? Any benefits you want to point out?
Yeah, thanks, Tony, for that demonstration. What we mentioned before was that with PDM and PLM, we are looking to get products out, faster time to market. We're looking to reduce time it takes to search for the right data. And we're trying to automate as much as possible to increase our efficiency and throughput. And what you saw there today, you saw that Upchain lives in the software that you already know and love. If you're using SolidWorks, CATIA, Creo, NX, Inventor, even for the electrical people, Altium or any others that you might know and love, there's going to be a little of you in the user interface. It's going to dock with that CAD system of your choice, and it's going to be able to have this push and pull between Upchain and the CAD solution that you're using. And this is by design. And this is because what we're seeing more as a trend is engineers need to be more and more specialized, need to be more and more knowledgeable. And it's not reasonable to think that you could find, especially with this talent kind of drought that we're seeing, that you're going to find the right engineer that knows the right CAD system that your company uses in your localized area. So how can you get them collaborating together and get value out of them quicker? Have an open multi-CAD solution that can connect, if they're using SolidWorks, with your Inventor teams, if they're using CATIA with your Creo teams. Not only that, what you notice was that intuitive interface. So it's quick to learn, it's easy to learn. Like Tony said, if you've used Amazon, you can learn how to use Upchain as well. And again, getting that learning curve from months down to days. When we're talking about Joe and Bob, we're living in a world that's much different than 2 years ago, where crypto millionaires are made overnight, and health is a real concern. So being able to get that tribal knowledge away from just one person and have it all systematized, and having everyone know where the right data is and be able to search for that data easily is ever more important. So again, search functionality, having all that metadata there, so everyone's aware of where the project is and how and the health of the project. And then when it comes to automation, you saw the check-in and check-out is done automatically. Revisions and versions are bumped up depending on your part numbering and revision schema. Translation files are automatically made. I think we're going to go into that with the BOM, as well as that CAD BOM integration. So this is where PDM and PLM converge to have that integration. And with that PDM and PLM integration already there, it means it's one fewer headache for you and your company.
Thanks, Jenica. One of the common challenges is for many manufacturing companies is around BOM and change management. The current process for managing BOM files for many companies is an Excel file on a shared company or department drive. A company that is growing very quickly, you understandably have many disconnected applications and workflows. And these companies are made up of highly skilled individuals with a vast amount of experience using a wide range of tools. The challenge then becomes the need for a centralized platform that the entire team can see when and how and who made the changes to a bill of materials or other documents. There needs to be a single source solution that supports import and export of data and information with any application. So Upchain provides the platform for company-wide traceability and visibility. In terms of change management, we see a lot of common challenges. Change management is also called engineering change management, revisions, engineering change requests, or engineered deviation requests. In many companies, engineering change is poorly defined and poorly executed. So there's a need for companies to have a standard platform with standard processes. Lost data about why a change was made, and this goes back to having proper document management. Ultimately, everything ties together from change management, how BOMs are managed, and how drawings are integrated together. Rules need to be set on approval to make changes and at what time, and who has the authority and at what level, and at what stage in the product formulation. Analyzing the impact of change, how costs are affected, time to market, quality, supplier issues, customer issues, and even packing and shipping. So now Tony will show Upchain's capabilities around BOM and change management.
Yeah, let's do it. Let's jump back into Inventor here. All right, we're back in our Inventor environment. We're seeing that same CAD model that we had before here on the project BOM. As you can see, we have the upper level assembly selected here, and there's quite a few sub-assemblies that they don't have CAD associated with it, including we got firmware here, documentation, we got integrated schematic down here, and we can tell that this doesn't have CAD associated with it because the file name is empty, right? We might also have files associated with it that are actually non-CAD or maybe not the native CAD that we have right here. This shows that we can manage both CAD and non-CAD materials right here, but let's go ahead and let's jump over to the web interface real quick so that we can see what this looks like over there. All right, switch over. Now we're in the Upchain web interface, and we're going to go ahead and grab the same project that we were looking at before. Now you're going to notice that I'm clicking through hyperlinks pretty quickly. It's because the intuitive interface, the modern interface, allows really rapid access to our data. I've selected the camera end item here. Let me go ahead and expand a few of these child parts. And we will see, let me go ahead and click a few of these here. And we're going to see we have those same non-CAD items that we did before, the firmware and the documentation, the schematic, right? All right here. And we're going to have a lot of information associated with those, even if they're not from CAD. And we see it, we have a ton of information here right in front of us. If we want to go ahead and filter this information that we're seeing, which we're definitely going to want to do, we can go ahead and select on our columns and see all of the attributes available. And they can be turned on and off. And likely you're noticing that there's quite a bit of metadata here within the system. We can go ahead and set our information and set our attributes, and then we can save where we want to set this up. And don't worry, you can also add your own attributes so that you can layer in your own metadata. Let's go ahead and save this. Now, once we're done with the view, we can actually have multiple different views of one bill of materials. That allows everyone to see the data the way they need to. So you can filter and manage your data based on who you are and what role you have, because people from engineering are going to need something to see something very different in the BOM and different ways than people in production, and different from supply chain, and really so on and so forth. So you can manage your BOM with the right information based on your role, or maybe even just the objective for that day, right? We also see that we have some visual indicators, including status, such as development, and pending, and release, as well as all the different files that are associated with it, like CAD drawings or documentation, translations. We translate all of your CAD, which is great, to STEP and STL for you. So that's a nice upper. Now, like I said, we can go ahead and configure all these views so you can really manage not only your data, but how you view that data. Now, moving on, we're gonna have a lot of options on how we build our bill of materials. We do have a 2D and 3D viewer that you can use. And we can go ahead and create items, nest them right here within our subassemblies. We can also put any of these records through business processes, including change requests and change notices. We may want to create a new version or create a favorite, so this shows up on our dashboard. And of course, we're going to have all the bill of materials operations that allows you to manage the structure of your BOM in a simple yet powerful way. We can also run a lot of reports. You can see here a couple. And I've honestly used a lot of solutions, and I know that this is one place Upchain really shines, is the ability to get information in and being able to get information out. We can attach really any type of file, right? And then manage it, revision and control it. And actually getting information out is incredibly simple. By using this feature, bulk export, you're going to be able to grab an entire bill of materials worth of information, attachments, CAD. We're going to be able to add it in native and non-native capability or formats. And then we could actually go in and attach any of the documentation directly in here. So we're going to be able to get information out pretty quickly. And when we select on items within the bill of materials, you're going to see that we get even more information here on the right-hand side. We can get all of our details, any of the business processes associated with, right, categorization, CAD attributes, where used, or sorry, history, anything that's ever been done to this, we can go ahead and take a look at. That where used that I said I like so much. We can do 3D compares. If we have supplier information, of course, we want to be able to link items anywhere from anywhere. Now, if we look at this particular item, we had that change request we saw earlier. Let's go ahead and look at that change request right here from the bill of materials, right? I'm going to select on that change request, and it's going to bring us straight into change management. Simple click of a button. Now within the change portal, you're going to be able to see quite a bit of information specifically to this bill of materials, as well as the entire change process. Being able to manage your change right next to your bill of materials, keeping everyone aligned with what's going on with it within your project and obviously within your part. You can see this one's locked out because it's on this change. We have our descriptions and our revision notes, our visual indicators to tell us what's going on, right? We're also going to be able to add tasks to this. So who did what, where, when, and why. You saw that we could also add documents. And then if it has relationships, This one happened to have a design review with it. It was already completed, and we can go directly to it using the hyperlinks. Right now, we can take a look who's up to bat, who needs to approve this and release these items. And of course, if we go back, we can always do a compare of the bill of materials. Right here, what's been added, what's been removed. We can close out of this. We see that we have an entire library of our change. And as you notice, that was right alongside of our bill of materials. So we have change and BOM management right in lockstep. Keeps everybody on the same page, a simple, really easy to use interface. Now, I know Janica is going to have some thoughts on this too. What do you think? Good benefits? Probably.
Thanks, Tony. Yeah, definitely some good benefits. I think Tony and I would agree that, the BOM isn't as sexy to talk about as Multicad and all of these cool functions and features. But for me, the lifeblood of a company is in the BOM. And if you're not having an accurate BOM that's easily being able to use by all of your divisions and departments, there's another company out there in this globalized environment that's doing it faster and better than you. And so that's why it's so important to stay competitive and to have a BOM as accurate as possible. The issue that we find, though, is that most companies, and I'm sure if we had a poll, I would say over 90% of you use Excel. And this was a tool developed back in the 80s or 90s. It was the best tool we had at the time. But with the advent of SQL, it's left room for things like CRM, PDM, ERP, because Excel isn't a database, and that's just software development 101. So why aren't your tools integrated? Because SQL databases are able to integrate between tools. And not only that, it precludes you from being able to have, say, duplicates in there as well. It doesn't work with a spreadsheet like Excel. And so when I see people using Excel, when I see people using Google Drive or Dropbox, I see people looking to have the benefits of cloud or a database, just using the wrong tools for the job. And that's what this is. So what we saw there was a SolidCAD BOM integration, and not just the C BOM, but different views of the BOM as well. So the E BOM, you could have an electromechanical BOM as well that's ready for manufacturing to be able to see. And just like you design your products for the most demanding of your users, the BOM needs to be as accurate as possible for the most demanding of your users, and that's procurement. In this day and age, with supply chain issues being exacerbated, procurement needs to have a view of an accurate BOM without any mistakes, so that they can order the raw materials they need with enough lead time to be able to save your company money and keep production going. So you're connecting the whole value chain with Upchain. Not only that, what you saw was those translations, PDFs, DWGs, DXF, step files. It's so easy to take those out because Upchain creates those in the background for you without you even having to see that. We've had companies save tons of time by having these automated and made for them. When it comes to change management, what we saw was proper documentation and approvals were all there for everyone to see. So that searching for the right data, we take care of that. You can see if, all the reasons for the change, they're all tracked. So the audit trail's right there. Just like Tony said, you know who did what, when, and why. Not only that, but impact analysis of those change. In that where used function, you could see in which projects those parts and subassemblies are used. With BOM comparison, you're able to see what changes have been made. And when it comes to the change process, not only can you eliminate large emails that are that have a lot of people CC'd, but you could completely get rid of that whole ad hoc process.
That's right. Thanks, Janica. So we've discussed at a high level what product life data and lifecycle management are, right? PDM and PLM respectively. So just to kind of summarize all of it, there's a few barriers that organizations like yours face if you don't have digital solutions in place to help you manage all of those data and processes. Or if your current PDM and PLM are siloed or fragmented, or if they just don't play well with the rest of your enterprise solutions, right? We get wasted time, poor efficiency, poor data quality. We also discussed how Autodesk Upchain can break down those barriers that your organization is currently faced with and create a single source of truth that your entire company can rely on. And I know we threw a lot of information at you, and I see that there's some good Q&A queued up. So why don't we go ahead and jump into there? Janica, I saw you raise your hand on that first one. How does Upchain compare to SolidWorks PDM? You want to go ahead and take that one?
Yeah, I think you could help me with that as well. And I think in the chat, we saw Mark Chapman ask, can Upchain integrate with Autodesk Vault Professional? And so when we look at Vault Professional, when we look at SolidWorks PDM, these are PDMs that have been designed for engineers to manage their CAD data. Upchain essentially replaces that. It is a PDM and PLM in one. And so all the benefits you see with SolidWorks PDM and Vault, now you have in cloud with Upchain.
That's right.
And it says, can it integrate with Oracle NetSuite? Absolutely. So Oracle NetSuite or Dynamics 365, Pronto ERP, Odoo, Acumatica, you name it, has open REST APIs. And Upchain has an open REST API as well. It's completely free to use. There's no cost to the data transfer. We've already had companies integrating with NetSuite, D365, Acumatica, Pronto as well. So we give access to our Swagger site, and any developer worth their salt just looks at it and says like, okay, it'd be no problem to hook up these web hooks.
Off to the races, right?
Yeah, exactly. Tony, it says, is there a capability to integrate with AutoCAD Electrical to generate BOMs from projects and push that to NetSuite? It's a little bit more technical question. I'm going to pass that off to you.
Sure. So the short answer is yes. AutoCAD Electrical has a direct integration. All the entire full AutoCAD suite. So AutoCAD, AutoCAD Electrical, AutoCAD Mechanical. We are currently working on that integration of the bill of materials. That's on our roadmap, but there is a workflow that you can bring your bill of materials directly out and bring it right into that same web interface that you saw before. So short answer, yes. And then being able to push it over to NetSuite, not a problem through those open APIs. See a couple more questions. I'm going to go ahead and hit the one really quick. Willem has where CAD and non-CAD files live, because I think I see a couple of those questions here. Your CAD files, non-CAD files, really any of your records are going to live on the cloud, specifically AWS East Region 1, which is in Virginia, if you really want to get down into it. They're also backed up across the West Coast. But as you saw in the demonstration, we had really, really fast performance. That communication to the cloud also utilizes some of your local working folders so that we can, for lack of better terms, cache those. So you get really, really fast experience, great performance, and it only translates the delta differences up to that cloud. So that's really where your files live, but just know that you're not pulling them all down, pushing them all up. You're just doing the delta differences.
And one thing I wanted to add about that is Upchain is cloud native. When you see other cloud solutions, it's usually a legacy product that's being put up in the cloud and hosted by the company rather than you yourself. And the limitations of this is it's very hard to scale. So Upchain has something called a view-only license. It's a lightweight license that can connect your suppliers to be able to see development data and be able to have an RFQ process that's automated and easy to have between you and your suppliers. Sales and marketing can use it to have the latest information as well at no cost to you. It's a free license, and it's the lightweight license. Day one, you could have one of those licenses. You could have 100 of those licenses, and it does not matter to us. When you ask that question to other companies or other products, it's always an issue, and there will be a cost or a ceiling or a limit because they're not cloud native. They might be a cloud solution, but it's very important to make that difference.
And Janica, you started. I think you really started the tip of the iceberg on Willem's next question. Would everybody in the organization require user accounts? And you got to a part of it. We do have those viewer licenses. We have full pro licenses, and we have a couple intermediate ones so that we can bring everybody in and experience the Upchain environment. I hope that one is good to go.
Yeah,
Janica, you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, and the point of it is to have all of those different licenses is not to limit you or tier you. Well, it is to tier you, but the point is that you don't have to pay for more than what you're using. So if you have a lightweight user, they can use the view-only license. If you have just participants working in a workflow and just approvers, say your head of engineering, that could be a participant license. If you have only people managing documents, that could be a team license. And for your power users, for project managers, people manipulating, creating bombs, for people using CAD and working in CAD, that would be the pro license.
Yep, absolutely. I think we have a couple of questions here still lingering about the ERP, MRP, enterprise integrations. I'll go ahead and grab a couple of those right now. So as Janica mentioned, we're going to be able to rely on those open REST APIs to be able to push and pool information really and create a porous data structure between your different enterprise solutions. It could be NetSuite, it could be Odoo, it could be SAP. We're really going to use the same mechanisms to build that out. And there's a question about, does it integrate to NetSuite? The answer is yes, through those APIs, or is there a third party you work with? Our preferred vendor is the person on the call. We have Tyler here. We have our entire SolidCAD team. Those are the people who are going to be able to link your Upchain directly to your NetSuite or SAP or anything else you need to do. That not just ERPs, but also MRPs or really anything that you feel like you need to, as an enterprise solution, create a platform around. So I think we also have one with, does it integrate to Revit? The short answer is unfortunately no. Longer answer is no, not yet. We're currently working on that. We have it on a planned roadmap. Right now, we do have the capability to manage any type of file, including version, revision manage, but it's more of an import-export type of workflow. We are getting direct integration in the future. I think I see one for, can Upchain link into Autodesk Inventor 2022? Link and Autodesk Inventor 2022 top-level assembly BOM to Odoo. Yes, that is a known workflow. Really, you can replace Odoo with anything that has that modern API.
Yeah, and one thing I want to add is one of the customers I was talking to spoke about how it took them 4 hours to get the BOM from Inventor into their ERP. And the whole point of Upchain is to just make that simple and not even an issue. And between integrations, so Inventor to whatever PDM system you use, or SolidWorks to whatever PDM system you use, into ERP, that's where you have the most chance for human error, where you have to say export out of Excel and type things out and then import into ERP. And that's where the messiest part and the messiest handoff is between engineering and manufacturing. And Upchain is looking to eliminate that completely.
Absolutely. All right, I see we have another one. Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, there's a question here that I can answer.
Sure.
About, will this recording be available so it can be shared with leadership? Absolutely, yes. We upload all of our digital events right to YouTube, as well as anyone who registered for this event will get an email with the link within this next 24 hours. You should get the YouTube link so you can rewatch it or share it or anything you need to.
Awesome. Thanks, Malika. We also have one left. How do upgrades happen? What is the cost? I'm going to answer this in 2 ways. One is the actual upgrades to the system come out in a rolling wave basis. A lot of the time, you're never even going to notice it unless you go into what's new or what's the latest release and hottest feature. That is one way that happen, and you won't even notice them. They're just pushed directly to the tenant. So you get free upgrades every time they happen. So that's the cost portion of it. My second portion of this is being able to scale up your operation within PDM and PLM. You may start with just PDM, change management, bill of materials, and then start using quality and requirements management. Or you can scale into that integration with ERP. So there is a way to use a solution and scale into upgrades that make sense for your company.
Yeah, one thing I would add as well is when we were talking about SolidWorks PDM and Vault, this is a PDM and PLM together. So like Tony said, is the limitations of PDM, say SolidWorks PDM, for example, is it's designed for engineers. And the issue them admittedly would say is that SolidWorks PDM doesn't really handle BOMs that well or be able to make it easy to export BOMs. And what we didn't even show you was the markup feature. So if you were to get SolidWorks PDM, you'd have to also get XBOM, you'd have to get eDrawings Pro. And for all of that, you get all of that in Upchain currently. And for anyone thinking like, oh, but this is an Autodesk product, know that Upchain was an acquisition. Before we even became an Autodesk solution, we were dominating the market. I think if you go to G2 Crowd, you'll still see that we're the #1 PDM and PLM system there. But Upchain had, I believe, 80% of our customers in SolidWorks. So people that came from SolidWorks admitted that our plugin was better than what SolidWorks themselves were having. And I think that's what led to the acquisition.
Absolutely. Okay, I think we have time for this one last one. Is that all right?
I was going to say, it looks like we just have that time for the one last question here.
And then Sarah actually added one right in under the wire that's actually right aligned. Connect the chain for both Kyle and Sarah is a utility that you're going to get day one. It includes learning modules, which are self-paced. So you're going to have videos, tests, all to be done with live data in your system. You're also going to get access to a full, what we like to call quick start workbook or playbook that's going to tell you, okay, the first couple weeks you're going to want to focus on this. That, maybe it's admin, and then CAD management, BOM management, change management, how those naturally progress. We also have access for our customers to get into instructor-led webinars that are about an hour and a half long. So you can go over your change management and all those things and really level up with an instructor. So that is really the connect the chain methodology and all of those quick start resources that you're going to get the day you sign into your tenant.
All right. Thank you to all of our presenters for taking some time, and for everyone who joined in today for taking time. I know everyone has busy schedules, but it was really, really incredible that you guys made some time to come and listen to our presentation today. If you do think of any questions that you didn't get a chance to ask, please reach out at any point. When I will be sending out an email to you guys, like I mentioned, with the link to the recording, and I'll also include some contact information to some individuals if you want to reach out to someone directly and set up a call and chat some more. Absolutely something we can do. And with that, I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon. And if you're somewhere sunny, enjoy the sun.
Thanks,
Take care, everyone.
Take care.